Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. And our guest today is I don't want to call you a new children's book author. You can talk to us about that. But this is Lakeysha Sowunmi, and she's going to talk to us about her experiences, where she grew up, her experiences in the military, her books that she's written, why she's written these books, and really helping to share experiences that some of us just get to hear about in the periphery. So we're going to ask some questions and learn some things. Lakeysha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jose, for having me here.
I'm so glad that this is happening because I'd received an email and somebody said, you might want to talk to this person. She might be good for the radio show. And then I was like, well, okay, let's see. We get people who write books all the time. And then you and I started talking and said, oh, we're going to do an hour with Lakeysha. And it sounds like you have a lot to share, and you're enthusiastic. So glad that you're here.
Thank you.
So tell us about your story a bit. Maybe going back to where you were born, where you were raised. We talked a little bit about Chicago. I'm not sure what part of where that falls in your life and such. But going back, and how many brothers and sisters you have, all of that.
Right. So, yes, I am a Chicago girl, born and raised in the Windy City. I am the baby of three, and sometimes people say I suffer from the youngest syndrome because I have
that. I'm still recovering. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
I'm outgoing and rebellious at times, but you know what? I really think that has worked for me, especially in my adulthood, because I'm really driven, and I'm just really motivated. So I think that helped me. So growing up in Chicago was pretty good. I just remember enjoying writing all the time, and I was also a runner. So those are two things that has kept me sane to this day, is writing and running. Currently, I am married. I have 3 kids. I have a college student that's at SDSU.
Oh, man.
Whew. So that's where all my money is going.
I'm thinking I'm looking across the table at a 19-year-old. All right, she has 3 kids and a child in college.
And then I have a high school student and also middle school. So I'm actually here in San Diego by way of the Navy.
Okay.
My kids, they are really fortunate to have been raised here. Yeah. Because as you can imagine, I've had to endure a lot of brutal winters, and that wasn't always fun. So here I am today in San Diego.
And you're still writing.
Yes.
And you're still running.
Yep.
Now, did you run in junior high school? Was that a thing for you?
Absolutely. I think I started running in the 6th grade.
Were you running because it was cold in Chicago?
No.
Or just like...
No, it was the worst, actually. We had indoor track, and we also had outdoor track. My favorite was always outdoor track. And now I focus more on endurance running.
Okay, all right. And Chicago's a little bit foreign to us out here. How would you say, what would you say? I know there are big differences, and what I've heard about Chicago, it's New York City, just smaller. A tough place to grow up?
I think it's pretty much about where you're from. I didn't grow up in a tough neighborhood, actually. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of support from the community, my running friends, running family. So it wasn't that tough. I would just say, to me, the barrier was definitely the weather. So I always knew that I would move from Chicago. I love Chicago. I always go back to visit my family. But I just knew that I belonged in a really warm place. And I was so glad that I got stationed here in San Diego.
Oh, they're still here. Well, there's some, we don't notice, especially if your origin is Chicago, then you wouldn't be able to compare it to anything. But you can. Now, what I've heard is, growing up in Chicago, what I've heard is California is laid back.
Absolutely.
Compared to anywhere else.
Yes. I think when I first came to San Diego, I just really felt a sense of relaxation. I remember when I landed, I saw all the palm trees and everybody looked so calm and relaxed. And I thought about Chicago, and it was always on the go, always in the city, always stuck in traffic. So once I got to San Diego, and then when I saw the beaches, that really sold me. I was like, okay, I love this. But yeah, Chicago is much faster than San Diego.
Yeah, a bit different. And you guys have that Green River out there in the middle of downtown.
The good old Lakeshore Drive. To this day, I still go back. It's really beautiful in the summer. During the winter, it's just covered with snow.
Now, growing up in Chicago, thinking of yourself as an 11, 12-year-old, I'll go there. What did you think you were going to do and be when you got older?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I've always been intrigued with the medical field, and my passion for just being physically active. I wanted somehow to bring both of those things together. So my first choice was actually a physical therapist. And I just thought like, hey, I could rehabilitate people. I could get them active. I could help them stretch. But that wasn't the path that I took. But I definitely wanted to somehow join the ranks of people that are making other people better and just finding ways that I could serve my community because I love my community.
Right. Now, are you still in the military?
No.
Okay.
So I separated a long time ago, but my roots are so deep in the military that any given day, any given conversation, that's all I talk about is the Navy. When people talk about me, they ask the same question. Are you still in? No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
But I proudly serve. I went overseas and I just had the camaraderie with other personnel, not only Navy personnel, but also Marines and the Army and also the Air Force. So I have love for all branches of the military, but I still feel like that's what my heart is.
And what year did you go in? And what was the thing that said, this is it, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah. So I went in 1999. I went to boot camp. It was very cold in November. And you would think, because boot camp is in Great Lakes, Illinois, which is not too far from the city, Chicago. And it was just so cold. And I just thought to myself, like, why am I marching in the snow? Why did I do this? What was I thinking? But, that only lasts. That's temporary. But once I got my orders to San Diego, gosh, it could have been to anywhere. It could have been to Guam.
So
or
you didn't
Virginia.
order, may I have San Diego? You didn't do that.
No, but I just felt so blessed. Like, oh, yes, this is the perfect place. But once I got my orders, once I landed, once I stepped my foot on the soil here in San Diego, I knew, like, man, I made the best choice of my life to serve my country.
Very good. Now, did being a runner help you deal with boot camp and all that? I mean, that's pretty hard stuff anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even leading up to going through the physical readiness test, that really prepared me because honestly, a lot of people, they had a hard time. And I was just looking like, oh, you're joining the military and you're out of breath. But I really think that my love and passion for running, it really helped me. Now, I'm not an elite athlete or I'm not the fastest in the bunch, but I was able to maintain and actually pass the test.
Right. So you saw back then, and we're still dealing, you and I talked right before we started this show about the percentage of age-eligible recruits. So people who are could potentially go in the military, but they're ineligible, 75% because of a criminal record or their health status or they don't read and write well. Did you see that back then? Things haven't changed, have they?
No, they haven't changed a lot. It's actually pretty sad because I know youth that want to enter, but because of one of the three things that you just named, they're not eligible, and it's frustrating for them. So it's a pretty sad statistic to read about.
Yeah. So we're trying to work on parts of that.
Yes.
I have in front of me two of your books, and you're going to write some more of these, right?
Yes.
Okay, one's called April Leaves, and we're going to talk about this one. And then this is illustrated by Joe Lee. And is this somebody you know?
No.
Okay. So you got some help on that one?
Yes, I had assistance on that.
And this one's Apple Leaves, too. So you can tell me why you're doing Apple Leaves. Yeah. And this one is called Sky's Summer Vacation. And then you had the art by Vina Bell. Is that someone you know?
Yes,
awesome.
That's my friend, actually.
Okay, all righty. And they're different and stuff. So, you get practice doing these and stuff and doing them differently. But quite clearly, one, you like writing. You're still writing. And two, you understand the importance of reading and writing. You've raised a family. You've done all of that. Discipline is part of your life.
Yes.
And just, what you bring to the table just in your energy. I wanted to say that because I hadn't seen your book yet. I hadn't met you, and I talked to you on the phone and said, you know what? This is going to be a good show.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot that you're offering us just in the books, and again, just what's happening in the future. But I want to fill in the blanks on that because we're going to have more questions for you and ask about just the challenge of raising a family, the challenge of being in the military and raising a family. We talk a little bit more about that and how maybe that has an effect on how well children do in school and such. They need to have. We talk a whole lot about social, emotional factors and stuff, and how those come into play and how they often come into play for military families. So I still consider you part of that family. And we're going to come back with Lakeysha Sowunmi, and we're going to talk about all of those things. You've been listening, and we're going to come back to segment 2. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in internet talk. And then if you want to know more about Lakeysha, she's going to give us her contact information. Anyway, we'll be right back with Lakeysha Sowunmi, and wait for us for the next segment.
Can you help a newborn baby in need? Sometimes the blessing of birth becomes complicated and perilous. Miracle Babies is there to help. Miracle Babies helps moms and dads give their all to their struggling little baby, but still need more. When you give to Miracle Babies, you help them give more. More skin-to-skin care, breast milk, and love. Go to miraclebabies.org and give right now. Be their miracle.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show. We've been talking to Lakeysha Sowunmi, and she's a children's book author and also of, I want to say former military. It doesn't fit you. You're military. And so anyway, this is our second of 4 segments with Lakeysha. I want to talk to you about your experience in the military, moving to other places, your very first move. Did you ever see any action and such? How old were you when you had children, and did you have any of them while you were in the military? How about that for a starter?
Yes, that's great. So my first deployment, I remember I was terrified. I was only 21. My son wasn't 1 yet. And so for me as a new mom, just getting everything prepared to actually go on deployment, I had to debrief my husband, which, by the way, he did so good when I was out.
I hope so.
My friends and family would call me literally and write me like, Lakeysha, he is doing excellent. So that gave me assurance. So as I was getting ready for this deployment, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I would see war, which I didn't, thank God. But I also went during the 9/11 era. Right. So 9/11 actually happened while I was out to sea.
And there was tension. Big time. Yeah.
There was tension. Every base was basically locked down. I was scared for myself and also for my family.
Can you say where you were?
Yeah, I was actually in Hawaii. We were on our way back to the States, but they made us stay for like an extra month. And that was so scary. That was the scariest part of my life. But basically, we ended up coming back. We made it back safely. So I remember once I saw my family. So my son, remember, he wasn't even 1 yet. No. I just ran to him and with my arms super wide, wanting to give him a hug. And I just remember he looked at me like, I don't know you.
Oh, my goodness.
Who are you?
Right. We're used to seeing the dads.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, given what was happening, now I forget, how long have women been in the military doing what you did?
You know, I can't give you an exact time frame.
I always knew that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been a very long time. Like women, we are breaking barriers day by day. You know, you see more women in leadership positions that you've never seen before. And that makes me really proud. Right. And since I'm raising a daughter, you know, I look at her and say, you know what, you could be anything you want to be, including a captain of the ship. So we've broken a lot of barriers.
So I didn't mean to cut the flow because now here you are, you're coming back, your child hasn't seen you in how long?
In about 7 or 8 months.
And then how did you rebuild the relationship?
Right. So as time went on, you know, it took a major adjustment, actually. I would say I had to be at home for about 3 months until my son got acclimated to seeing mom. And
versus, when are you going home? Why?
Right. Please don't go again. So it just took some time for that to happen. That was a hard time. But you know what? It worked out in the end.
And then you had 2 other children after that.
Yes.
And so how far spaced apart, and did you have them all while you were in the military?
Yes.
You just took care of everything at the same time.
I actually did. So they're all like 2.5 years apart. The last one actually is about 5 years apart. But it was interesting because even if you're in the military, even if you're not going from state to state, you may be going from state to another country. If you're serving locally, that relocation, it actually, it affects you, even if you're moving around locally.
Right.
Because you could move to a different duty station in the same state.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you may have to move your kids from one school to another school. That means you're going to a different community because you don't live where you used to live because you're moving to another military housing unit.
Yeah.
So relocation, no matter if it's from state to country or from country to country or if it's in the same state, it still has an effect on kids.
It's going to create some instability, if not discomfort.
Exactly.
So you were in for 8 years. Was your husband ever in the military?
No, he wasn't.
So he had to do a lot of that work in those.
Yeah.
Do you remember like taking your kids to school, first day of school, et cetera, helping with homework? Yeah,
sometimes, I would say certain seasons I would be able to do that because sometimes I would have a normal schedule, 9 to 5, but sometimes I worked overnight, so that was impossible. My husband, kudos to him because he was a constant and so supportive when I wasn't there. My husband was there. A lot of people in the military, they fly their parents and they get that support, or they live near family members. But my husband and I, we had to build a community of what we call our family now, but they were just friends.
Yeah.
They went to our church. They lived in the same community as we did, and that became our family.
Right.
But what we were able to do, I know my story is probably like common, but we managed to just kind of make it like a home here, although San Diego is not the place that we're from.
Right. But you have I mean, you're writing the children's books, and we're going to get to that. But you have your story. Now, I'm not sure how much they come across in the book. Your husband has a story, too. You probably could write a book.
Absolutely. I always tell him, and he's a math genius, too, but I always tell him that he has a voice and he has a lot to say also.
Yeah.
So he could have actually written about 5 books, but that's not his thing. So
yeah. So your second book, Sky Summer Vacation, it's a book about a young girl. She has to move to another state because her parents were promoted at work, and that happens too. It's not just military. She finds herself in a new place and meeting new people, attending a new school. And then, why did you write this story? And it was a work promotion, but it was kind of like your military experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This book, to me, it was almost as if, because I started that book a long time ago. It took me 10 years to actually finish. I wasn't writing for 10 years, but I start here, stop there, start there. And I feel like it was a perfect ending. Well, it was the perfect closure to my time in the military. And part of what I felt when I got out was like, you know what? Families are experiencing this. They are relocating. They have to take their kids with them, and their kids, they go through emotions, thoughts, and feelings that sometimes we don't talk about. And Sky, who's the character in this story, she's not in the military. Her family is not in the military.
Right.
But she experiences some of these feelings and emotions that I'm talking about. When I was in the military, I was in Bahrain, and they had a program at the library where the military personnel was able to do a video, and on that video they were able to read a book to their to their kids, to their husbands, to their wife. And I was able to do that, and I just remember feeling that connection with my son, with my husband as well. And I just felt like this book, in addition to programs that are in Bahrain where they encourage families to make that recording, I feel like that book will help kids understand that, you know what, relocation is hard, but change is inevitable. I can meet new friends, and that's why friendship is important.
Right.
And I just felt like that was the perfect closure to my time in the military. It was kind of like, I want to give back somehow to families that are still in.
So reading this book, they don't feel as alone and such. Now, let me ask you, have you read these books with your children, or have they read them to you? Has everybody, including your husband, read these books?
Well, they've read them. I haven't read them to them, but they read them on their own.
So they don't need help. Oh, that's good. He did something right. You did something right.
Absolutely.
Right. There must have been books everywhere.
Right.
I'm going to guess.
They're avid readers. As a matter of fact, as I go, so I have an 11-year-old. So as I go on tour or community book fairs or health fairs where I'm able to sell my book, my 11-year-old is there, and he's talking about my book. He knows the characters. He knows what's going on. So he's actually able to help me.
So have you gone to, they do show and tell. So have you ever been like show and tell for your kids? This is my mom. She's a writer. Here's a book. Mom, take it away, Mom.
I wouldn't say show and tell, but I have been to his class numerous times, reading books and also teaching the kids how to author their own book, because I also think that's important.
Wow, that's really nice because it means something to the kids to meet a writer. Here's your book. This person wrote this book. Do you have questions for her?
Yes.
Right, and you get that from the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've been invited back time and time again, especially during months like Read Across America. I go in there and I just kind of show the kids like, hey, these are the steps. This is the process. You don't have to wait until you're an adult to become an author.
Yeah, we can talk about Read Across America today. Let's do that. We're getting coming to the end of the second segment. We've been talking to Lakeysha Sowunmi, and she is a children's book author and also sharing some experiences about being in the military. I want to ask you, too, about your advocacy for health and your focus on preventing obesity and such, and how that plays with this whole package. But you pick some good things. And it's a good thing for the military, right? If your books are encouraging people to read and to stay in shape, and if they can, just kind of, those two things are powerful.
Yes.
They can take you places and all that. And they did take you places. And so thanks for sharing your story. We'll be back with Lakeysha Sowunmi. I'm Jose Cruz. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit mozguitars.com or their Facebook page, mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.